Well, given that I'd like to buy some more gold from a personal point of view, I hope that comes to pass. He will have to do it carefully, meaning he has to turn the gold into things that he can use. There isn't enough trade on a global basis in renminbi, as an example, that he could convert the gold into renminbi and then the renminbi into stuff he needs. The fact that he is frozen out of US dollar denominated trade on a global basis and frozen out of the SWIFT system is turning out to be a much greater detriment than he had thought. But it might be that the only fungible asset he has for sale is gold. Irrespective of the difficulty, that is the only thing that he can pay his bills with, in which case I would suspect that whether he wants to or not, he would have to sell it. I think Putin may be a little smarter than Mr. Ackman believes. I think that Putin was, I think that he probably believes that his hand was forced in the circumstance. And I think that he has been surprised by the lack of conventional capabilities enjoyed by the Russian forces. And I think, too, that Mr. Putin, as a politician, didn't understand enough about the Russian economy to understand the real pain and the fact that he will, sooner rather than later, be unable to afford this war. I'm reminded of lesser combatants, which is to say Eritrea and Ethiopia, which don't like to admit it, but their war 15 or 20 years ago ended up because neither side could pay the gasoline bill. They literally ran out of fuel. And I suspect that the exiling of Russia, as an example, from the SWIFT system and the inability to do what they do well, which is sell raw materials to the developed world, means that the economic dislocation that he faces, including his ability to wage World War III, are much more constrained than maybe Mr. Ackman believes. Two things to consider. One, most of the world is getting sick of U.S. extraterritoriality. It's important to remember when we regard Russia as an aggressor that almost half the defense budget of the entire globe is the United States. That'll get us a lot of hate mail, Michelle, but it's true. And increasingly, countries are understanding that they have interests separate and apart from the United States. Germany, Japan, India, and China have all said that they have to view the current circumstance from a pragmatic point of view that takes their own interest into account. The second thing is that gold is fungible. If Putin were to begin to sell his gold onto the world market at, say, a $20 or $25 discount, the idea that, as an example, Indian people would sell Indian gold to the United States and then replace it with Russian gold, $25 cheaper, probably serves the interests of all at hand. I don't think that the United States Congress has the ability to constrain liquid global trade in a commodity that is as liquid and as fungible as gold. $64 billion question. Three comments there. The first is that 3 times before in my career, I've seen gold strong in conjunction with a strong US dollar. And that has been the condition precedent for a very, very, very strong gold market. You'll notice that gold is doing spectacularly well in other currencies other than the US dollar, given very strong US dollar strength. And the fact that gold is doing well in US dollar terms suggests that we are in the early stages of a real rebound in gold. In my experience, too, geopolitical concerns can move gold in the near term, but those gains are given up. What has moved gold in my lifetime has been investors and savers' concern about the purchasing power of conventionally denominated instruments. One thing that you can say about $130 oil in a war economy is that it will be paid for by quantitative easing. It will be paid for by debt and deficits. It will be paid for with negative real interest rates. Those 3 things, quantitative easing, Michelle, if you did that, it would be called counterfeiting. Increased debt and deficits and continued negative real interest rates are a very potent 1, 2, 3 combination to make people concerned about the purchasing power of their savings in other instruments. And that's tailor-made for gold. So I think the current circumstance is good for the gold price in the intermediate term, perhaps not the near term, because the way we pay for this economic difficulty will, in every sense, in every way, be good for gold. I suspect that gold will be up marginally to flat for 3 to 4 months. I think some Russian gold will find its way in the market because I think the Russians' need for cash is bigger than many people think. I think, too, personally, that a way will be found out of this hostile stalemate in the Ukraine. At least I hope so. I think so, and I hope so. But my upside target as we begin to pay on a global basis for what we're doing right now, I don't have a number for you, but when people tell me, Rick, are you thinking about 2,200 or 2,500? No, I'm thinking that the digit to the left doesn't have a 2 in front of it. I think it has a bigger number in front of it. I've been through, Michelle, 2 prior real gold bull markets in my life, and people normally underestimate the dimension of a move in the gold price. My first gold bull market, the price went from $35 to what, 850? My second one, it went from 250 to 1900. I'm not saying that gold is going to go up 7-fold from here, but I don't think a double or a triple over the 5-year time frame is out of line at all.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information, and it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.